For the opening of my film, I decided to have it first person, as this was my original idea for the entire of Dead in Secrets. However, it didn't work for my entire film, so I still wanted to use part of this idea. I put it at the start of the film so that the audience were introduced to the characters more naturally. I had the camera peek into each of the characters' rooms to add to this realism. The entire of this scene is handheld, as I wanted the movement to feel quite free and natural, and move with its surroundings.
Room service, everyone would like to speak to you at the stairs as soon as possible, please. Thank you. Room service, you can't be stealing those. Everyone wants to speak to you at the stairs. Quickly, please. Thank you.
My original idea for the stairs shot was to have two camera angles, a low angle camera angle facing up towards the butler and a high angle camera angle facing down towards the crowd. If we were to have two camera angles, the consistency wouldn't be great, as the lighting would change and so would some people's facial expressions and voices. This wouldn't work as it would make the film feel slightly more jarring.
Well, I hope we don't have to pay for it.
God, who cares? My father will pay for it.
No, you've all had a long day. You should get some rest, and we'll hopefully have some more information for you in the morning.
Very sorry.
Originally, with the stairs shot, I had the murderer in the corner. However, I wanted to build up the anticipation and allow the audience to come to their own conclusions on who the murderer was. By showing parts of the murderer, people are able to guess who they think the murderer is. Whilst later it is quite clear as you can see the character's back, it allows some form of speculation. Later, we do see the back of the murderer, which reveals very clearly who it is, but before then, it allows the audience to get some form of speculation. When filming Mr. White and the murderer going up the stairs, I chose a shot that was very symmetrical, as this added to the eerie feel that I wanted to portray. We had a still shot of the water bottle, again to add to the tone and creepiness of the shot.
It could happen. Anywhere else, but surely not here.
Oh my god, he's dead.
The camera tracks Lenny when she walks into the room. This is to make the audience feel more connected to Lenny as a character.
We can't keep this a secret anymore. We must inform the house.
I agree. Have everybody meet you downstairs by the staircase, and I'll tell them what's going on.
Right, you are.
The second stair shot suffers from the same as the first stair shot. We couldn't have another camera angle at the top of the stairs as the consistency wasn't that great.
Not making yourself sound any less guilty than it.
Why would I need to kill him? Me and my father already have the money.
Who says you didn't hire someone to go kill him?
And you're the chef who said you didn't kill him with the knives you carry around.
Well, what about the doctor? He knows everything about the body.
How dare you accuse me of that? I use my tools to help people, not harm them.
Please, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a firm believer of innocence until proven guilty, but for now, stay in your rooms until you are called. Now I must go. I trust you two to handle this. I'll be in my room if you need me.
I'll be off to my room too.
Hey, wait.
I used this scene to provide context to the audience and give them an understanding to why Detective Rick has been given the keys.
Issue, like you're a stranger, can't just let you wander around the building.
Seems fair.
One thing I wanted to do in this scene was quickly pan between each of the characters to quickly create an intense scenario. However, because there weren't that many people there for that shooting day,
Yeah, I guess that could work.
when filming the interviews, I wanted it to be quite a dark room and feel quite intense. This interrogation sequence is used to quickly establish the characters and what jobs they do. This can create more suspicion with the audience and further aid in who they think the murderer is.
I realised that my door had been left open when I know that I locked it.
An issue we ran into was that one of our actors forgot to bring one of their pieces of costume onto set. This was an issue as it was very hard to distinguish which character they were, as they portrayed both Mr. White and the Doctor.
It's useless. They're not answering my
The scene between Detective Rick and Lenny was used to provide context to the audience on why Lenny joins halfway through the interviews. The light behind the characters was also quite bright. This fits with the stereotypical interview style, as usually in a police interview there is a really bright light that they shine in the other person's face, usually to try and manipulate them into giving them the information.
Was your door left open? How would I know?
The simple shot reverse shot allows the audience to focus more on the conversation rather than analysing why certain camera angles are used.
Now tell me again.
I wanted a reason for the interview to end abruptly, so I decided to have two of my characters fight. However, I wanted this to fit quite seamlessly into it. So, in editing, I used the audio from the argument and put it in between part of the interview. This allowed the shot to flow quite cleanly into the argument. It also gives motives to the two characters. For the argument scene, I wanted this to be one final big outburst for everyone, where all fingers are pointed and all guns go in blazing. To do this, I had quick cuts between all of the characters. This was to intensify the arguments and make everything seem... This was done to make the scene feel more intense as everybody started to blame each other. There is a still shot of Remy's shoes with the sole of the foot pointing up. Stereotypically, in movies and films, the sole of the foot symbolises death, so I wanted to incorporate this idea into my film. Again, I didn't want to show people's death on camera, as sometimes, if it's not done correctly, it can look a bit strange. When the characters realise that Remy is no longer there, I wanted it to the scene to still have some suspicion around some characters, as they weren't all immediately apologetic and crying in front. I wanted some of them to still act suspicious, so that the audience were kept pondering who the real murderer was. The fade shot into another room adds a good transition into the next few scenes. Here the fridge is slightly open in the background, alluding to where the necklace truly is. The journalist and Lenny are both played by the same character. As they are both played by the same person, it's a little bit jarring seeing the same person twice, as the audience starts to question, well, why is that person in the same shot twice? Are they two different people? Like, what's going on? And it's a little bit hard for them to understand. When filming Detective Rick's final confrontation, we didn't have the right prop to film with his murder weapon. Unfortunately, we had to get this scene done, and the only thing nearest to us was a carpet scraper. The issue was that this doesn't really fit with the stereotypical murderer, and instead it adds some humour to the scene, which wasn't intended. This scene is also used to explain some loopholes, and explain why Detective Rick is out to murder so many people, and why he murdered the people that he did. The film also ends on a slight cliffhanger, as we don't entirely know whether Detective Rick is still alive, and whether Lemmy is still alive. I've been Jack Cave, and this has been my Dead in Secret Director's Commentary.